Welcome to the Fin Addicts Miami Dolphins podcast on the Fin Addicts Network and somewhat brought to you by Manscaped. Now, we didn't win, but pick your chins up. We've got a show to do, okay? Fitz played okay, aside from the 2 interceptions, and although we started out with a balanced attack, in the latter half of the game, we saw them attempt to turn it into the Fitz magic show, which did not materialize. In fact, it looked more like a repeat of last season in which Fitz led the team in rushing yards, yards per carry, and he scored the team's only touchdown on the ground. Devontae Parker had a hell of a day, 10 catches, 110 yards, and Jason Sanders actually led the team in scoring, kicking 5, you heard that right, 5 field goals. He's one of the only reasons that we were even in that game. The other being the defense, which played pretty well, a couple of sacks and an Howard interception, but that would not be enough to salvage this one. Final score, 31-23. I am your host, Savak, and I'm joined by my co-host, Orange Aquaman himself, Jason Sarney. How you doing, Jason?
I'm okay. I'll be the silver lining guy, full disclosure, but I'd like to welcome everybody else into the show and swing it on to the next host.
That's very nice. We're also joined by the Drew Welch. How you doing, Drew?
Trying to deal with another Fitz tragical performance, and I don't know how many more I can take.
I feel that. Trust me, I feel that. And we are also joined by a very special guest who some of y'all may know from the tube of you as DouglieDoWrong. Doug, how you doing, man?
I'm all right. I've been better, but we'll talk about that.
I feel that. I feel it, man. This is kind of a sullen tone. At least we've got a little bit of sunshine going on here with Sarney, but we're going to dive right into it. We got Fitz. He threw 2 picks, man. The Fitz tragic action going on here. He was 29-45, 315 yards, 47 yards on the ground, and a rushing score. Doug, what's your assessment of Fitz's performance?
I won't give him that first interception. I won't put that on him. He got his arm hit, ball just sailed. He actually had a guy wide open. Would have actually been a big gain on that one. That last interception, though, I don't know if I'm allowed to curse on here, but I got a lot of cursing I want to do on here because, like,
Please.
That's what you'll get. That's my cursing right there. But he wasn't bad, but he wasn't enough, if that makes any sense. Look at what the Seahawks did, right? Russell Wilson threw an interception in the end zone, but he still was Russell Wilson, elite, dynamic wide receiver. For how long did we have mediocre quarterback play, right? Ryan Tannehill, Chad Henne, I could go down the list of all 400 after Dan Marino. I'm tired of mediocre quarterback play. I love Fitz. I love his heart. I love how he puts the team on his back, but I don't want to jump on the next subject, but that's all I'm going to say.
We'll get there. Jason, care to weigh in?
I mean, look, I'm not happy. This is not a happy day, but this is also a day to kind of have like a little take pause, and they lost by 1 possession to a team that's 4-0, to a quarterback that has broken the NFL record for the start of touchdown passes in their first 3 games. They had chances to win. They're a young team. Fitz is the only player over 30. He made mistakes. The future is on the sidelines. Your defense looked okay. Their number 2 or 1 cornerback, Byron Jones, was out. Rookie, no. There's so many things that I can use with a silver lining brush, because if you all want to be back to where we were last year at this point, where the differential was monumental in scoring, the football was not grade NFL. It was grade Division II of college, and you just have to understand this is a process. And you touched on a great performance by Devontae Parker. Second catch, limps off. Oh no, Devontae Parker. No, he comes back on, makes 6 more catches, whatever it was. There were positives. I do think that, not to jump into the next subject or a couple of subjects like Doug alluded to, we will talk about it, but we'll figure out when the changing of the guard is going to happen. But there's improvement. And the 3 losses come to the Bills, the Pats, the Seahawks. It's 9-1 by an average of 1 possession a loss. And that's what I got right now.
You're right. Can't argue with a little bit of progress, and at least we're losing to good teams. That is a bit of an improvement. I'm enjoying that, but that's probably not the whole story. What are you thinking, Drew?
I think Jason summed this up perfectly. The future is on the sideline. I want the future now. And we're saying he had 2 interceptions, and we're forgiving the one, okay? But are we forgiving the other 2 times he had Seahawks right in the hands and they dropped it? I mean, that would have – you get to 4 really quick. You can't play ball like that, and you can't – one thing we don't know is who's checking out of the run. Who's saying, let's go to an empty set on 3rd down with 4 yards to run. But Fitzpatrick winging out 47 – Fitzpatrick is not Peyton Manning. Let's quit acting like he is. Yes, he's smart. Yes, he's a good ball player. But you don't build an offense around Fitzpatrick. He's not that kind of player. He's a journeyman quarterback. Now, there's a lot I got to hold back because we're going to address some of this later. So I'm trying to hold a lot of this back that I got to say, but he did not play well. We're talking about what are we? How many interceptions is he at now on the season? What is it? 4 and 3, 4 TDs, 3 interceptions. I mean, that is the definition of a generic QB and regular old QB play, not great QB play. He's not getting touched. He's not being hit. There is no excuse for this play.
That's true. Now, we do have to say that some of it does fall a little bit on the play calling. We've alluded to it before. It was kind of strange. That balanced attack that we had against Jacksonville is what really paid dividends for us and got us that win. Kind of got thrown out the window in this one. We saw flashes of creativity. Lynn Bowden took a direct snap, took it 5 yards. That was pretty cool to see. Wish we could have seen a little bit more of that. As I had said last week or on the last show, we did see some of the running backs getting a bit more involved in the passing game. I was happy to see that. One thing I did find very interesting is Preston Williams must have been wearing camouflage out there because Fitz did not seem to see him. He only targeted him 3 times versus like Devontae Parker's 12 targets, and Isaiah Ford got 10 targets. So, I mean, whoa, what was even going on out there? What did you see, Jason?
I saw a quarterback who, and I hate saying this, I really do. I think he was afraid of his long ball, afraid of his fastball. He was afraid that the hitter was going to hit a home run, and he was afraid to throw the fastball downfield. And I just kept on waiting. You have Preston Williams, who is he a speed burner? Not necessarily. Could he, break off, someone trying to jam him at the line, simplistically get separation? That's been an issue, but there was time enough to take a couple of shots, and I really don't see him throwing more than 2 or 3 plus 20-yard throws. He really did not throw the ball past 20 yards a lot at all. And when you have receivers who are tall, like a Williams, like a tight end like a Gesicki, they draw flags. Gives you opportunity downfield. I think Williams drew 1 flag down in the end zone. But the point is, you want to see receptions, and I just didn't think that Fitzpatrick had the confidence in his arm to really drill it. He stepped up in the pocket okay and delivered some decent balls. I was just targeting the quick hits, the slant, the Isaiah Fords and Devontae Parkers, and you got to open it up.
It was a little confusing. It's not the 50-50 kind of play that we're used to seeing. I thought that was a little bit odd too. Drew, what about you?
47 passes thrown, 10 rushes from Fitzpatrick. That's 57 planned passes versus 16 planned rushes. 57. I don't know what else to say other than that. That is the definition of predictable. I mean, situational awareness was not there at all. You're at 2nd and 4, 2-minute warning coming up, and you throw the ball. You could have run the ball there. You only had about 8 yards to go. Everybody knows they're going to run the ball. There were points that were rushing 2 people because everybody was in coverage. We made the worst secondary in the league look like the best secondary in the league because it was so obvious what the play calls were over and over again. And the run was working. It's not like last year where everybody's averaging 2 yards. Yes, our short yardage back is, but you can't get a whole lot of yards rushing at the goal line. But you got to make the play action work, but the only way to make the play action work is to run the ball believably.
That's absolutely right. And I mean, Myles Gaskin was averaging 4 yards per carry. That's not too shabby. Tell me about it, Doug. What were you seeing out there? What'd you think of this offensive game plan?
It absolutely drives me nuts that, again, Fitzpatrick is the leading rusher on this team. Again. Like, I don't understand it. I really don't get it, especially with Myles Gaskin doing so well. Like, that guy breaks tackles like it's no one's business. The man gets hit, and he breaks out of it consistently. And then they put Jordan Howard in there, who looks like he never played football a day in his life. I don't understand why. 2,000-yard rushing, seasons first 2 years, and then it boggles my mind that they don't focus on the run. Do they think that the offensive line is struggling with the run? Did they see something that we didn't? I noticed that it seems like this offensive line can't hold their blocks that second longer that the team needs them to, because I see it. You see lanes, and then they go to hit the lane, and then it's gone, and it's a tackle for a minimum gain. So I don't know what it is, but for the love of God, I would. When was the last time the Miami Dolphins had a 100-yard rusher? Like, I honestly can't remember. It wasn't last season.
No, it wasn't. I don't really have that one pulled up here, but I know.
Giant.
Yeah, that was the first one that came to mind for me too. Was it a
Right?
Or Drake? It might have been Drake.
Did Drake ever hit 100?
I think he did.
You see,
Rushing? Wow, I couldn't even tell you.
We got 4 fans here. Nobody
Frank
seems
Gore.
to know. That's how long ago it was. Like, that's rough, man. And I do like what you alluded to there. Myles Gaskin is definitely playing bigger than his size. He is absolutely dominating back there. They should be feeding him, which when they do, you actually establish the run game. You can do the play action. Everything comes together. But we did not see that, which, of course, the offensive woes have us wondering. We have to ask the question now. Is it Tua time? I mean, you look around the league, you see Joe Burrow got his first career win, 300 yards and a touchdown, threw a pick, but whatever, they won. Justin Herbert went toe-to-toe with Tom frickin' Brady in a shootout, and our guy's sitting on the bench. It's hard not to wonder, And I've had people tell me that Tua's not healthy enough to play, and of course to this, I've always been of this mentality. Sit him and let him learn. But if we're going to get the multi-pick version of Fitzpatrick in there anyways, why bother? Roll him out there. And for the people that are suggesting that he's not healthy enough to play, then why have him suited up on the sidelines where he's realistically one injury away from entering the game anyways? But gosh, I could go on and on about this, but it's not my damn show. It's ours. So Drew, tell me, is it Tua time?
100%. I will say that Tua did have an illness, whether it was cold or whatever it was, and he was out 2 practices. So that I can't really say they had a chance to start him with the 10-day window because of that. But the future is on the sideline. From what everybody's saying when they were talking about Tua, the most pro-ready QB in the history of QBs, some people are saying, or since Andrew Luck, is on the sideline. And everybody says, well, look at Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes was sitting behind Alex Smith, who threw 5 interceptions that year. 5. Fitz is already practically there now. And okay, what about, Eli Manning's that too, behind Kurt Warner. I mean, these are good quarterbacks that they're learning from. What is Tua learning right now? I need to run around like a chicken with my head cut off, throw the ball 47 times, and if I only have 2 interceptions, I had a good game because I really should have had 4. I mean, there's nothing there that makes any sense. At least maybe if it's Tua time, they'll run the ball and protect the rookie quarterback.
Oh, I think that's a very good point that you made there, because that's what somebody else said to me. If he does end up taking the field, that they're going to focus on the run. So, I mean, maybe that is what it takes to get this offense on track. Doug, what do you think?
Yeah, I think it's, if we had the Vader music queued up, I think it's time. It's time. It's Tua time. It has to. It's just, we have to. At this point, like I said, Fitz is good. He's a good, decent, solid quarterback. He's a quarterback that, hey, your starter goes down, Fitz has to come in and end the game, or to play another game to get your quarterback back in the groove, that's Fitz. It's like with Matt Moore and when Patrick Mahomes went down last season. He came in, he won him a game, and Patrick Mahomes came back in, did his thing. We hear the list of names of quarterbacks drafted in the first round that sat, right? Patrick Mahomes, like Drew said, sat behind Alex Smith. We have Lamar Jackson, sat behind Joe Flacco, Joe Flacco. We have Eli Manning, a top 5 quarterback, sitting behind Kurt Warner, right? All of these quarterbacks that we're naming, even Aaron Rodgers sitting behind Brett Favre, who eventually became Brett Favre. You know, he played for everyone. I think he played for my high school football team at some point. But we see these quarterbacks that are just past their prime. You got the young buck on the sidelines. They always tend to come in at some point. It's time, people. Because we ain't getting anywhere different with Fitz. We see what we get with Fitz. You play a shit team like the Jacksonville Jaguars, we'll win. But you play a good team, Fitz ain't going to do it for you. So it's time.
I think Sam from Perfectville said something very similar. What he notices that, Fitz plays well against bad defenses and plays bad against good defenses. Jason, what do we have to lose here by putting the kid in?
I'm just losing already for having to follow Doug. That's amazing. That's exactly what we need. It is time. I'm going to paint you a little picture because timing is everything, right? And not only is it now time for Tua, let's analyze the matchup. Let's analyze a couple of fun little stories. The left coast, Tua's a lefty, going out west to San Francisco. That's going to be his debut, right? He's from Hawaii. Maybe they get it regionally out there in Honolulu because it's, San Francisco game out west, left coast, lefty, just saying. Last time there was an awesome, really perfect scrambling-ish, throwing, dime-dropping lefty quarterback with Steve Young. Where'd he play?
San
Fran.
How long did Steve Young have to wait? He had to wait, and you're right, Doug. He had the creamsicles, but I was actually looking for the USFL team that he played for and was drafted by. So while there is 2 little rights there, we're not talking about right. We're talking about left. The left arm of God, right, Josh Houtz? On the left coast of the greatest country in the world, in the greatest organization in football history. I have to follow DouglieDoWrong, and I hope that I did right by talking left, and God bless America.
Oh, man. Did a damn good job, Jason. Go ahead, Drew.
Okay, so I just got one more thing to add. Is there not a better time to start your rookie QB than after your veteran QB threw 2 interceptions that could have been 4 interceptions?
Yep.
I mean, you can't do much worse. If the fans aren't going to freak out about it and say, "Oh, well, no, why are we starting him?" Because we all just saw Fitz think to join up.
Mm-hmm. So plain and simply, I mean, if we're going to get these turnovers anyways, they might as well be at the hands of the rookie or not at the hands of the rookie while he's playing so he can learn on the job, because otherwise, what are we doing? We're just spinning the wheels in the mud. My question has always been this: if we are concerned about putting him out there, if we are concerned that he is going to get hurt, then are we not confirming all the fears that were had before the draft happened? And I was one of the people that said it too, by the way. I legitimately thought the injuries should be something that we think about, but if we are that worried about it, then why the hell did we draft him? Come on now. We got to get we have to get something going here. This offense needs a spark. It's not working with Fitz out there. I wanted to give him the benefit of the doubt. I love Fitz. I love the person that he is and what he brings to the locker room and how he galvanizes the people around him. But at a certain point, you have to admit, okay, it's not really working anymore. It's time to turn the page. Let's begin that new chapter. Get this kid some reps. If nobody else has anything to say on that one, we'll go ahead and go into – oh, go ahead, Jason.
One last thing.
Break it down for me.
The offensive line has looked good enough that you can check the box off of worriment. Mm-hmm. Last point. If you do the math, and let's give Fitz a half a season at this pace, that's 8 touchdown passes and 10 interceptions.
That's
You
right.
can't let that happen to this man.
Yep.
I'd rather it happen now where, if God forbid, there's a problem with Tua, Fitz could come back in. You don't want to let the wheels fall off of Fitz when 3 of them already are gone. You know what? Let's start this spark.
Spot on.
Flame on.
Yeah, there we go. Human Torch. Dig that. Which takes us, of course, into our lone bright spot. Well, not lone, okay. We're going to get to the defense in a little bit. But the brightest spot on our team, Jason Sanders, Miami's MVP, led the team in scoring today. 5 field goals. Holy crap. That's why I joked, well, it was kind of a joke, if we had ended up pulling out the victory there, that everybody needed to get Jason Sanders, his name and number, tattooed right above their ass crack because, wow, go get him, Jason. Doug, what did you think of him and really the special teams as a whole?
Well, I don't want people stealing my tattoo. I got it. It's already there, man. It's right above those sweet cheeks, man. But yeah, no, I absolutely. I've loved Jason Sanders. Once I think he kicked like what, a 60-yarder for us to win us a game. Like, I was just like, love this man. He is my favorite kicker besides Olindo Mare, because I think all Dolphin fans love Olindo Mare. But yeah, Jason Sanders is just, I don't want to say anything because I'm superstitious and the wood that I need to knock on is too far from arm's distance. So I'm not going to say anything more, but I absolutely love Olindo Mare. Jason Sanders. I'm going to sleep. I'm leaving. Goodbye.
Jason, what are your thoughts on this man, the man that shares your namesake?
Well, not only that, I mean, he's a Dolphin kicker who is now literally perfect. He hasn't missed a kick yet. So anytime
you
you
son
can,
of a gun.
I'm sorry. It's anytime that
I'm
can.
I'm knocking.
I know, but like it is. It is. I mean, he's a Dolphin kicker, and so far he hasn't missed, so it's great. You can look at it. Anything I say is not going to affect his kick, people. It's
coming for you.
Hey, it's okay. I'm in Philly. You know where I live, Doug. Good Jersey guy. Let's go. But I'm not from Philly, so I'm from New York, which means I'm going to shy away and you'll hear from my lawyer. But I digress. Jason Sanders is a playoff-winning kick away from owning the South Florida luxury automobile market when he's a retired individual. Literally. Because this man has cemented himself as a legend already, and he hasn't done anything to win a game in the playoffs or whatever, but he's that good because he'll get there. So he's a fantastic kicker. He's paired up on special teams with one of the best punters in the AFC, if not the, in Matt Hack. So if you could just circle Pro Bowlers, it's Jason Sanders and maybe Matt Hack, but it is what it is. So let's not settle for field goals, but let's be happy that when a guy needs to make a kick, it looks like we have a guy who can make the kicks.
That is nice to see. I'm looking forward to seeing the Jason Sanders, Chrysler, Hyundai, and Cadillac. Drew, what do you think about this kicker in this kicking game?
Okay, 2 completely different answers here. So what do I think about this kicker? I think he played a hell of a game, did a great job, didn't crack under pressure, and came through. What do I think of the kicking game? I think it's getting used way too much. You can't kick field goals and win games. You can't do it. 5 field goals, if 2 of those are touchdowns, we're talking about a completely different game. But instead, we're not running the ball when we get in the red zone. We're not running the ball when we get close. We're not running the ball when we get the ball. We're never running the ball. That's all I can really say.
Drew needs to call plays and just run. I don't even care in a loss.
Really does.
You gotta get this man the play calling.
Right, for the love of God, just pound the ball, pound the rock, keep going.
Till they stop it. I mean, you're getting 6-8-yard runs. Make them stop it. Then when they stop it, okay, play action. That's when you actually do some play action, when they believe you're going to run the ball.
Exactly right. But I guess the silver lining to take away from it is that at least we know this man can make kicks when it's necessary. We're hoping that those moments grow to be a little fewer and far between, which I guess takes us over to our other bright spot was our defense. They actually played pretty well. I think Drew actually had a very interesting stat for that, right? What was it?
You talking about the games?
Yeah.
If you look at every game minus one of the Bills, their lowest scoring game has been against the Dolphins, and this includes the Seahawks. I mean, they were, I forget the exact score, but it was, I believe it was 18 in the fourth quarter, about halfway through. And then Russell Wilson did what Russell Wilson does. But they kept the game manageable till the end, and the offense let them down again. But, I mean, how do you not respect what this defense is doing? They're stopping scoring. Teams are going to score points. Russell Wilson's going to score points. Cam Newton's going to score points. Josh Allen's going to score points. These teams are going to score points, but the defense is keeping them to lower numbers than any other defense. So,
which is the key to look at. I mean, Landon Roberts forced a fumble. X Howard had that interception. Ogba and Lawson both recorded a sack. I mean, you can't ask the defense to play much better than that. They definitely kept us in this game. Jason, what were your thoughts on the defense's performance?
They played okay minus about 4 bad plays, like minus 4 really, really, really bad plays. But that kills you. And what destroys you is getting a momentum field goal with 20-some-odd seconds left before you can walk into a locker room happy and say, you know what, they get the ball back, but this is fine. It's stop and we can tie this game. And then a 56-yard pass to a guy that you really shouldn't worry about, David Moore, and then you can't even rally up and hold him to a field goal. So the momentum, and I think I mentioned this right then and there on Twitter, it's like the Dolphins' problem is you take a step back to take 2 steps forward. Then you have to take 3 steps forward to make up for the difference. And that's not – it kills you because you end up saying you break even, and that's 8-8. That's just microcosm for 8-8. And it's bothersome that defensive performances, like a Bobby McCabe played gutsy. He went after a wrecking ball in DK Metcalf and might have concussed himself. You know, whatever happened to him, he looked at, he got shook up, but he created an incomplete pass on an absolute freight train. And unfortunately, there were some deep balls. There were some, tight end problems that this team always has. They need to fix the kinks. But again, young team. There's silver linings. And I like that there was a little bit more of a pass rush.
I agree. There was a little bit there. They managed to get to Russell, which was nice. You saw how it affected him when he was under pressure. Doug, what did you think?
I don't think I'm as high as you guys. I think that the team, well, not like high in that way. You know what I'm saying?
You're good.
I wish I was though.
Right.
I honestly, the defense played. It was all right because, we would see. It just sucks because if Drew kept saying, if the field goals were touchdowns, the Dolphins would have won 35-31, and we wouldn't be sitting here right now talking about starting Tua. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
But it's just like, okay, we're down by 1 point. We can potentially get back in this game. Defense gives up a play. And you're like, oh, all right, we're down by 4 points. We could potentially get back in this game. And it's unfair to put it all on the defense because the offense just didn't get it done. You 5 friggin' field goals. Like, are you kidding? Yeah, we got the 1 touchdown late, but I don't think I think the Seahawks were halfway on the bus at that point. But yeah, it's just like Noah got beat twice by Moore, who I like to call his daddy now, just like Parker's Stephen Gilmore's daddy. It's just he was just owning him all game. The 1 touchdown play, though, the Seahawks rushed the Dolphins defense. Dolphins had some guys coming in on a substitution, and they hiked him real quick, had 4 verts, and were like, whoever's open, just chuck it to him. So I'm not going to blame it too much on him. He's also a rookie, 3rd start, so I won't put that much on him. Xavier Howard with that interception kind of erased a little bit of our memories of him constantly being about 5 steps behind DK Metcalf. I understand that if he's not healthy, they're not going to put him on the field, and they won't. Not saying he's not healthy, but the man isn't 100%. You can see he's not 100% because he has the speed to keep up with these guys, but it's just not there. No pressure. Yeah, we had 2 sacks. One of them knocked out Lawson, which it's like, seriously, Miami? You make a big play and then your player gets injured? Could that be like a typical Miami thing? We get no pressure. And I said it on my YouTube channel. You find the front 4, you find the combination that gets the most pressure and just keep using them. Because for some reason, they keep pulling Zach Seiler out of there when he's the one who consistently keeps getting more pressure. So I get it. we have the second youngest team in the NFL. I get it. No preseason, no OTAs, no gelling of this team. It's going to take a hot minute. But there's games like against Buffalo where we just needed to stop and we could have won. See, this game, we just needed to stop. Even New England, we just needed a stop, and we couldn't get it.
I guess, Drew, looks like you had something to say. Go for it.
Yeah. So, first off, does anybody remember that big run Russell Wilson had?
Mm-hmm.
There really wasn't one. I think he rushed 4 times for 5 yards. They bottled up freaking Russell Wilson. So, I mean, they did actually do some stuff, which is a lot better than they did the beginning of the year. But there were so many things on the offense that just really hurt the defense. Okay, 3rd and 4. All right? You throw it twice. They had thrown it 2nd and 4 to stop the clock. Third and 4. And I'm going off memory, so if I'm wrong, I apologize. But I do remember this. 3rd and 4, right before the half, they threw it and stopped the clock. Had they run it there, you would have had the exact same result, only the clock's still going. Seattle uses that last timeout they have. So when they throw that long bomb, they have to run down the field and they have to spike it. Completely different timing of events than the other way around. Then they have to throw in the end zone. There's no other option. But instead, they're able to throw it. They get the long completion, and they're able to call that timeout. So there are a lot of things the offense could be doing to help the defense out that is setting the defense up for failure. I mean, it is frustrating, but it is Russell Wilson. I mean, we're not talking about Blaine Gabbert here.
No, you know what? That's very fair, which I guess will take us into this. Did anybody have any positive takeaways from this game moving forward? Doug, I will start with you. What you got?
There's a few positives. I liked Parker coming back and consistently doing his thing. Parker's showing that he now, even with a little banged up, he can do his thing. If we consistently run the ball, I love the way Gaskins is playing. You had Breida with that huge catch and run, just showing how dynamic the kid can be. Lockett, you didn't hear from him much when Igbenogany was covering him most of the game, so that's a bright spot. Just don't put more on him because then, God forbid, he's going to get another friggin' touchdown. There were some bright spots. I like that Gesicki is now one of these up-and-coming really good tight ends that they had to double him all game to shut him down, and he still got some catches, and he still was doing his thing. So, yeah, there's still a lot of bright spots. This team has a very, very bright future, so I'm very excited.
I like that. Jason?
Well said, Doug. And yes, you look at some encouragement on a team that you stop expecting them to be 12-4 people. It's like we have to understand. It's like you have to have patience, and you couldn't really judge this team at 0-5 last year, or 1-7, or 2 and whatever. You really needed to see the last 4 or 5 games, and they did well. They did okay, and they progressed. And now I'm not going to do any type of mass judging until I see 2. And whether that's this coming week, whether it's in 3 weeks in the Chargers game at home, that's another thing to circle because that would be a great home draw to have Tua versus Herbert. Just circle that idea. But I would love to see it, but I would love to see it in what capacity sets Tua up for the greatest amount of success. And that could change on a dime within the year of COVID. Another reason to have patience, because the last thing that we need to do is put the cart before the horse here when you have a stable of 3 or 4 thoroughbreds and you need about 9 more, but we have the ability to do that, so again, you get encouraged, like Doug said, from a Devontae Parker. Last year could have said, you know what, I'm hurt, I'm out, but he came back to the field and he played great, and there's encouragement all over. Drew, I'd love to hear your don't talk about the run, though. You get riled up and worried for your blood pressure.
Well, Drew doesn't like running the ball, so I don't know what you're talking about.
What show are you watching?
There's actually a ton of bright spots. Defense, bright spot. Catching wide receivers, bright spot. Running game, bright spot. Offensive line, bright spot. Defensive line, bright spot. They contained Russell Wilson. Kicking game, bright spot. Everybody's kicking it over Jakeem Grant's head because they're afraid he's going to turn it for a touchdown. Bright spot. There's tons of bright spots. I only see 2 problems. The offensive game calling and the QB play. That's it. Those are the only 2 down spots I see. Other than that, I think I'm really excited for this year. And that's why it's two a time, it's two a time, it's two a time.
Very well said. Very, very well said. So I suppose you guys nailed it all. I mean, that's exactly right. We've got bright spots all over the place. We've got these weapons. I love seeing them emerge. The defense still has some wrinkles to iron out, but overall is playing well. The offensive line is holding. I do want to see what this offense looks like with Tua on the field. So with that, I guess we'll do some quick house cleaning, and then we'll get the hell out of here. Make sure you subscribe to the Fin Addicts Miami Dolphins podcast. It is available where all podcasts are available. Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, places like that. We do what we do for all of you. So get on there and leave us a nice review. Make sure to follow us on the Fin Addicts Network on YouTube. youtube.com/Fin Addicts Network. Go find our friend Doug on there, DouglieDoWrong. If you're not already subscribed, that's right. Follow us on Twitter at Fin_Addicts. And Jason, if you'd really quick like to tell us about the All In for Literacy poker tournament.
Absolutely. It's a great time. The guys over at the Jason Taylor Foundation, Seth Levitt, DJ Preach, and of course Jason Taylor will be playing. There's, his sister Joy plays, a lot of media personalities in South Florida. Israel Gutierrez was in my Zoom room. He knocked me out and picked up a straight flush on the river. But Israel, I'm coming for you, man. I don't forget too quickly. And a lot of ex-Dolphins, Terry Kirby played, Sean Wooden played, but you're helping out a great cause, literacy for kids, and what an important time to do that in this day and age. So everything's great, and now I'm going to stop talking.
I'm pretty sure we misspelled literacy on the outline again.
Who's writing these outlines? Whose child is writing the outlines? I can say that I'm not.
I was just about to ask you, Sabak, if that was on purpose or not, because I was like, we can't do that 2 weeks in a row.
Two shows in a row, dude. No way. Yes, I'm with that, Doug. Oh, my God. But very well said. I am not a great poker player, but I will take anybody at Uno. But for my goodness, I am done with this week, though. I'm going to go get intoxicated and play Madden, where at least I know for sure my Miami team is winning. Everybody else is done here. We will go out on a fins up.
Fins up, everybody.